Hello everyone! The village you are now seeing is Shuping village, which is a small village only having 9 households. It is a typical impoverished village in China. Almost all young men left the village for seeking livelihood in big cities. The youngest laborer in the village right now is 47 years old. 1 year ago, due to its poor transportation, people had to climb 3 mountains to go to the nearest city. If villagers wanted a packet of salt, they had to ride a motorcycle for 1 hour to buy it at the nearest town. Poor transportation has been a great bottleneck for the village to get rid of its poverty. Shuping is famous for its production of persimmon and pepper, but most of the time, persimmons are rotten on trees and peppers are sold to small vendors at very low price. Although it is only 28 kilometers to the well-known scenic spot, the Hukou Waterfalls, inaccessible Shuping village in the past years benefited almost nothing from the booming tourism. By far, only one Shuping villager ever visited the Hukou Waterfalls. In Shaanxi province, where the Shuping village locates, the population is 38 million people, but about 3 million people are still living in poverty. Many villages here, just like the Shuping village, are poor just because of the poor transportation. But recently, the isolated Shuping village has undergone changes thanks to the road being built in front of it. Chinese saying goes that a road is a must for getting rich. The road in front of the Shuping village is called Yanhuang Road, which is 828 kilometers long and is expected to fully open on August this year. The 28-kilometer section in front of the Shuping village, which was built last year and made the village accessible, has changed the life of the villagers over the past year.
Hello, I'm Ding Mei from Xinhua News Agency. I'm now on the newly built Yanhuang Road, 100 meters away from Shuping village. It is this road that brings a lot of changes to the impoverished village in the past year. My colleague is now in the village.
Hello everyone, I'm Fanjing from Xinhua News Agency. Okay, right now I am in the center of this village. This village has only nine households here. Right now I am in the households of this family of this village, the Ma Shuzhen village. And as you can see that the living condition of this family. Okay, on this side you can see that this is it is called the yellow earth cave dwelling here. It is very typical in northwest China, in Shaanxi province. People have used this kind of the yellow earth dwelling for generation and generation. It is estimated that about 30 million people are still using this kind of yellow earth dwelling right now. Probably I cannot take you to look inside, but I have to say that the space in this yellow earth dwelling is about 30 to 40 square kilometers. But actually, the inner side of this dwelling are a little bit shabby. You may be wondering what on earth the criteria of the impoverished families in China. So here I can give you some information. In Shaanxi province, the criteria is like this. The impoverished families are recognized if you have no proper living place, just like this one, or if you have no drinkable water, or if the per capita income of a family member is lower than 315 yuan, that's about 40 to 50 US dollars every year. So if you your family is like this, that means your family is recognized as the impoverished families. So here right now this village is also a kind of impoverished village recognized by the government. Chinese government vowed to lift the poverty of those poor people, before 2020. So that means if your family is recognized as the impoverished family, that means the government has the responsibility to help you get out of the poverty here. Okay. So this village is a little bit isolated from the big cities. The villagers here, they have to climb the 3 mountains to the nearest town or nearest city. And if they wanted to buy a pocket of salt, they have to ride a motorcycle for 1 hour to the nearest town. So, okay, so right now, things seems to be changed a little recently, just because the road in front of this village opened last year. The road is one section of the Yanhuang Road in front of this village. It is about 100 meters away from the center of this village. Last year, the small section is opened, and then the village becomes a little bit different. For example, this weather, you can see it's very, very hot, but this weather is very suitable, for, planting kind of economic plant. It's called the Chinese peppers. So, before the road was opened, the residents here, they have to sell their Chinese peppers at very low price to the small vendors. But right now, it's a little bit different because a lot of big dealers, they can access to this village very easily, and they can offer a much higher price. And also, just behind me, you can see this is a brick house. Okay, this is the only brick house in this village. It was built last year. why this brick house could be built last year? Just because they rode in front of this village. Because big vehicles and trucks, they can carry the sand or stone or bricks from the very far place and come to this village, and so these brick houses could be built. So we can see that only 1 year, only a small section of road actually brought a lot of changes to this small village. And I can tell you that about something about Chinese peppers. Okay, here, residents sold the Chinese pepper at about 40 yuan to the small vendors. But right now, it is expected that the road may brought some big dealers, and these big dealers would offer about 80 yuan. That is about a double of the previous price. So that means that it's quite easier for the villagers to get rid of poverty here. Okay. Some of my colleague is right now in the mountain. In the mountain of the Chinese peppers of the village. So I would like my colleague to introduce more about Chinese peppers. So come with us and go to the mountain and to find more information in the field of Chinese peppers. Okay, China right now has about 43 million people who still living in the rural areas and in poverty. And Chinese government vowed to lift the poverty of these people up before 2020.
把话筒对你近一点，这样就行了，是吗？
我们那个第2个出现记者就位了。哎，老师，您能看见吗？喂，我们那个第2个出镜的记者就位了。镜头晃很厉害，可以了。随时可以说了。
哦。
眼镜呢？给我。你的手机不要拿出来看。
给我。
给我。3、2、1，可以说了，然后，好，开始吧。
Hello everyone, I am Chen Tingting from Xinhua News Agency. Now follow me, I'll show you the pepper field of this village. Come on. Now you can see it's the Chinese pepper trees of this village. You can see that little tiny things on this tree is Chinese pepper. Let's smell it. It smells good. It makes me feel it's like the sense of some certain mysterious sense in the Eastern style perfumes. And the Chinese pepper is a kind of flavor which can add into some dishes and give them some tricky taste. And maybe you taste the food such as mapo tofu and the Sichuan hot pot. And the pepper in that dishes is give them the main flavor. And follow me. The whole field of this village will have a very good harvest in about a month. I met a villager in this morning, and he told me that the pepper here have its own brand. It named 大红袍. It can be translated as the giant red robe. It has its own brand, and it will sell very good if when the Yanhuang Highway will put into use in the future, and this pepper will be transported to many other places, and it will cost less money and cost less time, and maybe one day it will deliver into your table. And the temperature is very high, and it's good for the growing of these plants. And you can see now there's growing all over the hills and fields. And not far away is the Yellow River, the mother river of China. And the river holds this little village for years and years, and so as its trees. These plants is the main cash crop of this village, and it will give the villagers here the hope, and give the hope of these villagers, and supply them the hope and money to support their life. And let's see the details of these little things. See, they're very cute, hanging on this tree, and it's a little bit wet. And when it is harvested, it will put on the ground and dry it, and make them into flavors. And maybe then put into powders, or even put that directly to the hot pot. And now, and here's a report from Chen Tingjing in Xinhua News Agency.
So hello everyone, and we can see that the land here, the earth here is quite dry here. It is a very typical of Loess plateau. Loess plateau, that means yellow earth plateau. So here we can see that the earth here is quite dry, but just because it's dry earth, and it's very suitable for these Chinese peppers to plant. Chinese pepper actually is a kind of a food, a kind of a seasoning, always used, in the table, on your table. Right now, actually, the northwestern part of China, the weather here is quite severe. That means they can still plant some these economic plants, but probably it's not very easy for them to plant some grain or food or something like that. So it's not very easy for these farmers or villagers here, to earn a lot of grains or wheat or something like that. But only these economic plants are their main income or resources of villagers here. And right now, hello everyone, I am Fan Jing from Xinhua News Agency. I am now in a very remote village in northwestern China's Shaanxi province. Okay, some audience ask us what kind of measures does our central government take. Okay, I will introduce some for you. Also, firstly, they will motivate the local, staff members to help the villagers to get rid of poverty. They will let these staff members to have some ideas like planting the trees or planting some economic economic plans and to light these villagers to earn more money and then get rid of the poverty. And secondly, the central government will invest a lot of funds to build infrastructure like railway, like national roads, and by roads and railways, the government provided this free infrastructure. The villagers or impoverished families, they can have their these resources, to go out and to sold to the other places. So that means it's easier for them to sell these economic plants at a very low price and not very low price, I'm sorry, at low cost, and then they can earn more money and then get rid of poverty. And thirdly, the central government would provide some measures like give some funds or subsidy to the villagers and to help them build their houses, new houses, or help them to have some drinkable waters, and to give them some basic necessary daily necessities, and then the villagers can still by this way get rid of poverty. And fourth, the central government would, have some kind of training, professional training. That means the impoverished families, they would have their laborers to learn some skills, and then these villagers would use these skills to earn more money. So basically, the central government and the local governments, they would provide such kind of subsidies or measures to help the impoverished families to get rid of poverty. Okay, thank you very much for your question. And any questions, please be free to ask me. Okay, my photographer told me that I should have a taste of this Chinese pepper. Okay, this Chinese pepper actually is sold at about 40 yuan per kilometer. Okay, 40 yuan, that means about $4, I guess, $4 US. And this kind of plants are consumed a lot in China because a lot of people, especially those living in the northwest part of China, like the this kind of Chinese peppers. So that means if the transportation here is good, and if infrastructure here is good, and then they find the impoverished villagers here, there's no problem for them to get rid of poverty. Okay.
In China, there are many impoverished people like villagers of Shuping village who are bottlenecked by the poor transportation. Roads may change the destiny of these villagers, just like Yanhuang Road. It passes through 12 counties and 72 townships in Shaanxi. Among the 12 counties, 8 ones are included in the National Plan for Poverty Alleviation. The road is expected to directly bring benefit to more than 2 million people. The Chinese government has vowed to lift all impoverished citizens out of poverty by 2020 to build a moderately prosperous society. In 2016 alone, China helped 12.4 million rural residents move above the poverty line. By the end of last year, there were 43.35 million people living in poverty in China. northwestern part of China is a place where natural geological situation is severe. Transportation is key to solve the problem of poverty in this region. Right now, besides building new roads, the central government is also weaving a high-speed railway network in northwestern part of China. A new high-speed railway linking Baoji city in Shaanxi province with the Lanzhou, capital of neighboring Gansu province, started operation in early July. Thanks to the new route, northwest China's Shaanxi, Gansu, Qinghai, and Xinjiang have been connected to the national high-speed rail network. It can be forecast the northwestern region of China will surely benefit from this infrastructure. Today, we took you to the rural area of China. Hope you can understand China's poverty alleviation policy. Thank you for watching.